If you enjoy our podcast, please like and subscribe and consider becoming a digital subscriber to the Albuquerque Journal to help us bring you more content like this. You can find this episode and all of our podcasts on the Albuquerque Journal website, abqjournal.com, as well as YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify. See the show notes for a discount code on a digital subscription. Thank you for supporting the Albuquerque Journal, New Mexico's leading news.
Hello and welcome to another episode of What's Bugging You. I'm your host, Chesley Elkins. Here is my co-host.
I'm Brian Victor, and we are here with a special guest, Mike Swanson. And before we let him introduce himself, we have a word from our sponsors.
Preventive Pest Control. Taking care of the pests you see and the ones you don't see. Preventive Pest Control. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. It's becoming one of my favorite things to do in the whole wide world. To come here and talk about bugs with you two guys.
Well, we know that. That's why I invite you. You're our favorite guy to bring.
Nice.
A wealth of knowledge.
A dearth of knowledge.
Well, we got the podcast we call like the two bald guys and the crazy red-haired guy or whatever, something like that. But,
Yeah, they'll have to add me in there, just like a roly-poly or something.
yeah. So what do you got on the agenda today, Mike? What do you got on your mind?
People talk about scorpions.
Yeah, are scorpions like blowing up here or what?
It's that time of year, monsoon season. So whenever you have a whole bunch more of the little bugs that the larger bugs eat, then you get more of the predators, like the larger spiders, centipedes, scorpions, that sort of thing. But we're getting a lot of reports about scorpions, and people are asking questions, of course. How many seconds do I have to live if I get stung and things like that, you know?
Yeah, it's funny. We start getting phone calls, and because people on the size of scorpions here are relatively small, and people are like, I have baby scorpions in my yard or whatever, and like, no, those aren't babies; those are full-grown adults. This is how small they are, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then people are always worried about, like, if I put on my shoe, am I going to get stung? If I'm out, doing yard work, attending to the garden, is one going to sting me in the hand or something like that? So, there's a lot of myths about them and a lot of hype and fear, but really the ones we have, at least in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho, are really relatively mild and docile, and they don't want to be around people.
Yeah, fortunately, my brother lives in Phoenix area, and they go out every night with a black light on their walls and just do a scorpion hunt. And I've been with him; it's kind of crazy. He'll see probably 5 or 6 a night on his walls, and
they really pop. I don't know if you can see it on the screen on the video, but just like that, those green squares behind you, like it really looks like a flashlight out in the yard.
Like 100%.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Fortunately, you don't have those type of scorpions.
Exactly.
Here,
that's the Arizona bark scorpion is what people are afraid of, and I think for good reason. It has a relatively strong venom, and people can be hospitalized with. I mean, deaths are super rare, but usually people will seek medical attention if they get stung.
Is it from the venom, or is it mostly from like some kind of anaphylactic reaction there?
That's a great question. My understanding is just the reaction to the venom, and luckily the scorpions we have here in central New Mexico are not. I mean, we have one that's called a bark scorpion, but it's the striped bark scorpion, and they have 2 long stripes going down their back, which the Arizona bark scorpion does not have. So you can kind of tell the difference. We have a lot of those in the eastern part of Albuquerque, actually, which a lot of people don't know about. And then we have pretty commonly on the west side in Rio Rancho, we have the lesser striped tail scorpion. And again, both of those, if you get stung by one, it's like maybe a bee sting. It's not terribly, it's painful, but it's not dangerous really.
So it's on a typical house, where are people like, how are the scorpions getting in the house?
Through doors that don't seal well. We always talk about that all the time. Get your door seals in good shape and your window screens and that sort of thing. But they'll still find ways eventually to get in. But people have the houses that we go to that they have long-standing scorpion issues. Where they have like a lot of just harborage and like piles of things in their yard, and that allows the scorpions to have kind of a place to live and breed. So like big rock piles that stay untended, wood piles, whether it's old like just junk lumber or firewood that just stays out for long periods of time, that's perfect harborage for the scorpions.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I live in a rancho, and I've seen a few. I usually will see them like floating in my pool, dead or something, because I don't know if they're attracted to the moisture or what. But I've seen a few at nighttime running around, but that's pretty much it. Like they're in cracks of the wall or something. I don't know where I find them, but
Yeah, and they're beneficial, right? I mean, what do they eat are the bugs that we don't want around the house. You know, everything from little roaches to, crickets that are going to keep you up at night and all those types of things. Maybe even some of we talked about the garden earlier, some of the bugs that may be actually attacking the plants and the things that you want to keep the bugs off of. So
keep a few around just for fun.
Yeah, maybe put a bell around their neck so you know they're coming.
Would you handle one?
I wouldn't. I don't like I don't even like a mosquito bite. That's annoying enough. But a defensive sting from a scorpion sounds. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe when I was young at a party after too many rounds of beer pong, I might have done that, but not so much anymore.
So if someone was concerned, and I know they're beneficial, but if someone was concerned and had an influx of them, what could they do? Or if they were going to apply pesticides or something, what would you suggest they do?
Yeah, so I would say hire a professional for that because they can really do a more targeted treatment. So a good heavy perimeter around the foundation of the house, and then looking in the yard for those harborage places and treating those directly and appropriately, and then making spot treatments on the inside with some of the commercial grade pyrethroids is really effective.
Well, most importantly, thing about scorpions, did you know who their favorite singer is?
Who?
Sting.
Of course it is.
Stupid dad joke.
I like it. That's actually, usually they are dumb. That one's pretty good.
Nice. So you mentioned the lesser striped tail scorpion. That's a pretty descriptive name of what it actually is?
Yeah, thankfully.
Right? Yeah. we were talking recently about some names of pests they're really descriptive and kind of fit, kind of let you know stuff about those, while other ones are kind of ridiculous and makes you kind of wonder where they come from. Like, I mean, a bed bug makes sense,
Yeah, it's a bug in your bed. I like that. Yeah, lesser striped tail scorpion. That's descriptive. It tells you what you're looking at, right?
Right.
Yeah, some of them are pretty dumb. I was talking to somebody about silverfish and fire brats the other day. I'm like, why do they call it fire brat? That doesn't make any damn sense for something that's like small and kind of lives in the wet areas.
Right.
Well, silverfish kind of look like silverfish. So.
See, and that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Or we always talk about constantly I'm out on consultations and talking with people, and they have different dermestid beetles in their homes, and the common name for that is a carpet beetle. It's like, well, yeah, that's a carpet beetle larva, and they look at you like, I don't have any carpet in the house. Like, well. That's not a great name anymore.
Anymore. So I guess traditionally, like the carpet beetles would feed on more organic carpet that was made from wool or something.
Yeah,
like that.
That's dermestid beetles go after. We call it a fabric and hide pest because
Right.
they'll eat dead animal flesh and hair and wool counts in that category.
But now that's rare to find them actually in carpet. We're finding them other organic material.
Exactly. So people are always focusing on the carpet, looking for the carpet beetles. Right. I'm like, no, they're actually coming from your pantry.
Now the carpet's synthetic.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not a great name anymore. Yeah.
But I guess the larva kind of looks kind of fuzzy and maybe kind of like carpet, I guess, in a way.
I never thought about it that way, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's like the retrofitting the etymology there.
Yeah, because of the larva, not where you found them.
I don't know. I think that makes sense. Yeah. Or if anybody, I don't know if they do it in other states, but I know if anybody who's from New Mexico, their grandparents or parents always called oriental cockroaches. They always call them water bugs. There is actually a water bug.
Makes them feel better about having cockroaches around, I think.
I think you're right.
What's the actual water bug then?
Those are hemipterous insects. They're not even closely related. It's an entirely different order.
Okay.
Yeah.
One comes to mind is the green lacewing. Mm-hmm. It looks like a little bug with green lacy wings.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Or carpenter ant. I like that a lot, or odorous house ant. That's a great name for a bug.
Stink bug. Acrobat ant. The tail kind of looks a little acrobatic, I guess. Or I'm sorry, not tail.
One that's stupid is earwig.
Yes.
Isn't that because they get into your ears and eat your brain? Isn't that where that came from?
It would be cool. But no, they do not. I don't know. Maybe people thought that they could fit on the top of the ear, kind of like a toupee or something. I don't know.
No, I'm serious. Growing up, that was a fear if we saw earwigs, so they would get into your ear.
I did too when I was a kid.
Burrow in there and just stay in there. And
make you take over your thoughts and mind, turn you into a zombie. Yeah, but I don't know why they do that. I don't know. That's a dumb name.
Roly-poly. I know it's a pill bug, but roly-poly, that's a good little name for roly-poly.
That's a personal favorite of mine, which is actually not a bug. That's a crustacean, which I think a lot of people don't know, but I think that's a fun fact. Yep. And the way they name all the roaches we have the American cockroach, and then we have the German cockroach, and we have the Oriental cockroach, and the Turkestan cockroach, among others. And all of those come from Africa.
Do we know what if you're in Germany, if they just call it just a roach?
They call it
It's called their pet. Just their.
D roach. My German's rusty. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. Did they know we're naming it roaches after them? You know, it's like in with Turkestan. Naming roaches after there.
Yeah, or different. Even the American roach has different names across the country. It's always the same bug.
I did actually hear that, like in Argentina, they call it Argentine ants, Brazilian ants.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so that is kind of interesting.
Yeah, kind of shoot the blame over to the side for that invasive species.
It's always the neighbor's fault. That's what it is.
Right,
Exactly.
yeah.
The roaches came from the neighbor's house.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
So what's another silly bug name that we have out there?
I think that you had mentioned ladybug. I think that's kind of a nice one. It gives a nice touchy-feely name to it.
Well, on the scorpion track, the vinegaroon. Even though it's not a scorpion, but vinegaroon is the name. Kind of, they have a vinegar kind of. They're nasty looking things, but they're pretty harmless, and they emit a vinegary smell, right?
Rolls off the tongue better than urophagy, the scientific name for those guys.
Well, I didn't know. I just thought vinegaroon was called.
Because their defensive mechanism is they secrete acetic acid and smell. That's vinegar. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Are they related to scorpions? They are, right? Or,
well, they're arachnids, but not scorpions, but kind of closely related.
The arachnids from on land just aren't as tasty as the ones from the sea, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the stuff I like to eat at the sea are all mollusks.
Mollusk. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess they're all related at some point. Just depends on how far back you go.
Yeah.
vinegaroons are probably some of the scariest looking bugs we have in Albuquerque. Probably.
They look terrifying.
Yeah.
But they are harmless. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They're big suckers too. Really big.
Yeah. The ones. Yeah. I forget the scientific name for the ones in New Mexico is something. It starts with an M, and then gigantus, I think, is the species name. I forget the genus.
That, and then I guess the Jerusalem crickets are pretty nasty looking, scary suckers.
Yeah.
Or child of the earth, they call them, right?
But also pretty harmless. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's a weird name, child of the earth. I guess 'cause you're digging, you find them. I don't know where that.
Well, they have like a baby-looking head, a big kind of a shiny bulbous head.
That's right.
I think I had heard that those were extremely poisonous at one point. Did they even bite at all? Or?
I mean, like all Orthoptera, all of the grasshoppers and crickets, they have a mouth part that could theoretically bite you if they really tried hard enough, the mandibles, but no, it doesn't really happen.
Reminds me, there is a spider that does bite pretty dang hard that people always think is a scorpion, is the sun spider, or camel spider, or whatever we call them these days.
Yeah. Camel spider, wind scorpion, the sun spider, all those.
They look like a scorpion, and people more likely to see those than probably they are scorpions even, because they're they're kind of nasty looking and have little pincher looking things up front, and they're pretty fast. And you see them on the porch because they're chasing other bugs and
those independent jaws that can kind of just tear things apart.
Yeah.
Those are cool. Where
did the daddy part of daddy long legs come from?
I don't know.
It's just weird.
Maybe it just kind of maybe something from the 50s. They were calling everything daddy back then. Daddy-o. I don't know.
I can think of some way off.
Call me daddy.
Yeah, there's not the iMommy spider.
There's a little spider, and that's my daddy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and what's funny is daddy long legs that's actually another thing that's an arachnid that's not a spider, which is the harvestman, which kind of looks sort of like a spider, but they have really long legs, and that's actual daddy long legs. But we really don't see that many around here.
Well, I guess we can kind of transition to our next topic. We're talking about some garden pests.
Yeah, we did mention that. Yep. It's that time of year.
Yeah.
Speaking of harvestmen, we got harvest season coming around the corner.
Chili, start smelling some chili roasting.
Oh, it's my favorite time of year is when you just driving down the road and you just smell that popping, roasting green chili.
Yeah.
Nice. Are there any bugs that I guess get into the chili crops or?
Yeah,
anything
there's
that can
some
cause
caterpillars. Yeah, that kind of the same types of things that will eat, bell peppers and tomatoes to a degree. And most people don't want to put any insecticides on their vegetables. I think for good reason.
Right.
And so a lot of gardeners will just spend a lot of time, every day just go out there and pick off all the caterpillars that are chewing on their veggies and throw them away. Years ago when I tried to have a tomato garden, I used to have a cinder block wall, and I kept one brick there just for all those hornworm caterpillars, and I would just put them on the wall, and it got pretty gnarly up there because you get so many of them.
Yeah, I think we call those tomato worms sometimes
same thing,
too.
yeah. But they have that kind of like spike that comes off the front of the top of the head, almost like a narwhal. Yeah.
So what do squash bugs do? What are they damaging?
Squash, certainly pumpkins, but also zucchini. You see a lot there. They devastate it. A lot of just kind of the thick-skinned tubers and those vegetables. You'll just see them covering them, and they look kind of like giant aphids, or maybe like kind of like stink bugs. They're very similar, very closely related.
So how do you control these?
You can't really. There's not a lot that. Because you don't want to spray stuff that you'd spray around the perimeter of your home to keep bugs out, which is really effective. You don't necessarily want to spray over something you're going to eat. So there are insecticidal soaps and things like neem oil that you can put on vegetables that are okay. Certainly, you just want to wash stuff before you eat it, but that will help to a degree. There's not really that many beneficial insects, unfortunately, that'll take care of them either. But the squash bugs, I know my next door neighbor was growing zucchini, and they just get decimated by squash bugs.
I mean, I've heard of a lot of people using 7 Dust. Is that just a lower, like some that's okay to, like what you say, wash off?
I think any of the stuff you can get at the hardware store and that says, for use on food crops, and just make sure you wash it first.
It's interesting. My parents live in a rural part of New Mexico, out in Raymond, New Mexico. Something they've been dealing with is with the trashing their gardens the last few years. Actually been like this roving herd of like deer that have almost become domesticated in their town, and they've had to put up like 6-foot fences and cover the top of them as well, because the deer will
hop over.
Yeah, they'll just hop over and just totally decimate their gardens.
That's something else. I'm glad we don't have to deal with that.
Right,
yeah. It makes me think of like the old Far Side cartoons, like some deer just like leaning up against a fence post smoking a cigarette.
Right.
We're part of the neighborhood now.
they pretty much are, and they're very lovely, they're great deer, and they're eating very well and stuff, but you can't just take them out, or anything like that. But, so they have free reign.
Yeah, so it's like get a bigger fence, I guess. I don't know.
I guess so, exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy. And we get, the 4-legged things around here mostly are going to be gophers and rabbits.
Rabbits, yeah.
That are eating people's gardens, their veggies.
Usually mechanical barriers for those.
Yeah, exactly.
Best, so.
Exactly.
Well, thanks again, Mike, for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure hearing your picking your brain and hearing what your insight on things. Seeing your shiny head off the top of those lights.
I did wax it for extra shine today.
I like it.
Just for you.
I like it. I appreciate that.
Thanks again, and
thank you.
We'll see you next time on What's Bugging You.